try and get stillness in your life regularly if you can. In that stillness, that's where amazing things happen. You can start to have the gratitude. You can start to listen to the things that come through.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good morning, Simon Jordan. Previously, episode 279 of the 12-Minute Convos podcast. It's been 2 years, 8 months, 21 days, 23 hours, and 45 minutes since we last spoke.
If you want the world to love you, you've got to love yourself first. So I'd say, be you. Don't try and be anyone else. Be you.
That was then. This is now. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm very good, very good. You've got a brilliant memory. That's fantastic. I am very well indeed.
Well, it's such a great pleasure again, as I said, to connect with you. The last time we spoke, we had a great conversation. Are you doing the podcast still? One Planet, One Place. Let's start there.
No, I haven't done a podcast there for quite some time. 2 years ago, I set up an environmental initiative called 5 Things Clear. And that, along with my marketing and coaching business, it became a global within less than 2 months.
Wow.
It's huge, yeah. So that is taking a lot of my time.
Well, the last time we spoke, the thing you stepped into was to attempt to do that, go global. It took like 7 months. I see you've gotten better. You took 2 months this time.
Yes, what happened, I was walking on the beach and I just saw a seabird. It had a plastic ring around its head, which was stopping it from eating. And I cut the ring off and took it to the vets, and the bird sadly died. And then later on that afternoon, I'm on a different beach and I see all this plastic lying around, and lots of people come down to this beach. They love it, they enjoy it, but they don't take any of the litter away. And I think the problem is that they get too overwhelmed with it and they think, well, what can I do? And it reminds me of the story of the starfish, where there's thousands and thousands of starfish all washed up on a beach. And there's this young boy walking down the beach, picking up the starfish and throwing them back in. And this old boy comes up and says, you know, that's not going to make a difference. As he finishes his sentence, the little boy picks up another starfish and throws it back in the sea. And he says, well, it's made a difference to that one. So my idea, just with that in my mind, thinking, you know, if we all just picked up 5 bits of litter a day from wherever we are, then we'd all clear the beach or clear the forest or the street or whatever. And that evening went back, set up an Instagram account, set up the hashtag number 5 Things Clear. And it just phenomenal. There was people tagging me from far away from the Philippines, Russia, Japan, all the way across the States. And it's just grown and grown and grown. We've just had the 2nd year anniversary. I'm now working with schools. We're putting a kids book together, co-partnering with a guy with Swimming the English Channel next year. It's gone huge. Working with a company in LA as well. At the beginning of this year, we had the thing called the Million Piece Pickup Pledge, which is getting 550 people to pick up 5 bits of litter a day. And we have a huge response to that. And so far, we've picked up over 130,000 bits of litter since January 1. So it's taken a while to build up, but that's across the globe.
Congratulations.
And it's amazing. So yes, my main focus is 5 Things Clear at the moment, which is a big environmental.
Helping more people was core to that conversation. You've continued helping people. You've extended into helping animals, which is pretty cool, isn't it? Like how that has grown. And in so doing, you're helping people. It's still core.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So, you know, it's about helping the wildlife. And when I go in to speak to schools, there's 2 points I try to get across. I do a quick presentation and I show a picture of my 2 dogs, and I get the school children to think about their own pets and how much they love them. And then I expand that feeling out towards the wildlife. And I get them to think about, well, aren't they wonderful creatures? Aren't they lovely? So I then ask them a very crazy question. They look at me as if I'm an idiot. And I say, well, so what kind of things do you feed them? Do you feed them plastic bags or tin cans or, you know, straws? And they think, well, no, why don't I do that? And then I say, well, if you drop that litter or if you don't pick it up, you are doing that. And I then show a slide about the difference between jellyfish and a plastic bag in the ocean. There is no difference. The turtle will see the same. So I try and get them to understand, or try and get them to have the same love for their own pets as to the love to the wildlife. So they get that connection, and that works really, really well. The other one is I cover the stage in litter. It's clean litter, sort of a shock and awe tactic. But I say, you know, would you want this in your bedroom floor? Would you want this in the kitchen? You know, it would attract rats, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be really nice. Why would we want to clear it up? So they say, well, to make the place nice and tidy. Well, we do that in our home. But you know what? This planet is our home as well. So again, to get them to expand their emotional attachment to their own personal home where they live, but also we live on the planet. So it's about taking responsibility. And the schools I've spoken with so far, massive response, really, really good. It's such a simple concept. That's what's beautiful about it.
Two questions pop up immediately.
Yeah.
How have you internalized that process of learning? How's that impacted you? And then you have children as well. How's what you've been doing impacted them as well?
It's a good response. And it's in terms of impacted me, I go with what the universe is wanting for me, to be honest. It's all about being in flow, recognizing what's happened. I've never set up a business which is, this is an environmental initiative, but everything upon everything has been so simple. It's made me recognize, and how it's impacted me, in answer to your question, it's made me sit back and look at where else I'm in flow in life and also not in flow. Because when you're in flow, everything just comes to you. The ideas will come to you, how this idea was generated, the connection with people. I'm now co-branding with a dive school in the UK, the biggest in the UK, and they're teaching me how to be an environmental diver. So I'm expanding my knowledge of diving with that. That all came out of nowhere. How I went to Hungary, for a while now, I've been thinking I really fancy doing an adventure holiday. Within 1 week of me coming, I think it was less than that, within 1 week of me saying that, this guy from Hungary contacted me. And last year, myself and my partner, Jeannie, we canoed or kayaked 70 kilometres down the River Tisa in Hungary and cleared up over 10 tonnes of litter. So that was phenomenal. However, it's all been about flow, and the children see that. And that's where the impact has been. It's where if something is a struggle, if something is really hard, there's a barrier there. Whether you're putting a barrier there where you don't have belief and faith in your path, if you just sit back, relax into it, trust the path, then amazing things happen. But we get in our way. We think, well, I don't think that's going to happen. Or we put worry or stress or the fear of lack. And if we take that out of the equation and just relax back into it, it happens. If I just briefly, because I know we haven't got much time, I'm now living down in Dorset, right by the beach. Last year, I was up in Wales, up in the mountains, and my partner, she wanted to stop what she was doing. She was running her own yoga practice. Long story short, she got given an offered a job down in Dorset. Now that's a long distance. That's about 300 miles from where I was. And I was only renting at the time because I just sold a farm. I wanted to go and live in the mountains for a year. And I knew I wanted to live just away from life, really. So we said, okay, we have 6 weeks to move house. We weren't living together at the time, and it did come to me thinking, this is going to be stressful. We're going to end up with the wrong place. So we had to rent somewhere. We had to find somewhere for myself, for my dogs, somewhere I could work from, somewhere which I wanted to be close to the sea, place for the cars, all this kind of stuff. So we made a checklist, and we just put it out there into the universe. So we said, this was a big ask. I said, I want a place which has a place for a gym. So what I wanted a gym at home, like I had in Wales. I wanted an office big enough for me to work. I wanted space for the dogs. We wanted space in the garden. We wanted like a conservatory. We wanted a big enough driveway so we didn't have to park on the road. I wanted to be close to the beach. And we said, okay, let's just really put it out there. Let's go for a yoga room for Jean, my partner, because she obviously teaches yoga. We had 6 weeks to move. We hadn't seen anywhere, nothing. And we just put it out there in the universe. The first house you saw, everything. We're half a mile from the beach. We're half a mile from Bridport, which is an amazing little village. It's a small town, really. It's just fabulous. We have 6 bedrooms. One is now a gym. The other one is a yoga room. I've got big enough for the office. We've got a conservatory, everything. Big driveway. You can put about 8 cars on it. Everything flowed in. And we even spoke to the landlord, again, because we couldn't buy anywhere because we had 6 weeks to move before she started a new job. We said, why did you choose us? He said, well, actually, we had loads of people applying to come and be here because it's a really sought-after area, being so close to the sea. And he said, just something felt right about you guys.
Isn't that amazing?
See, when you're in flow, when you step back and just step away from being in fear, lack, worry, it's not going to happen, because we did encroach on that area of, oh my God, it's not going to happen, or we're going to end up with this or with that. So we focus on what we don't want, and we end up getting what we don't want, in relationship, finances, or whatever. But we just let it go. We just went, you know what, it's going to happen. And just do it from a place of gratitude that, aren't we so lucky that what we've got right now, and that we've got the opportunity, and we're going to be moving. How fantastic is that? And it all fell through. Not all fell through, it all fell into place, rather. And it's incredible.
It's amazing how that has been working in your life. I remember your earliest childhood memory was that guy who was in such a flow that he ended up at the railway station all by his lonesome. And it speaks to the confidence and the ability to think about where you're going and then get there. It's fascinating that you did that as a child. It's fascinating that you're doing that now today.
Yeah.
How it's impacting so many other people, yeah?
It's true. It's just relaxing, getting out of your way, stopping, because we humanize. When we humanize things, we put worry. I mean, one of the things I would say to people, stop reading the news, things like that, because all it is bad news. When was the last time you heard them promote something that was really good? You know, front pages are not about good things. We just don't have that in our lives, which means our mindset is one of a positive one. It's not, we don't live in cloud cuckoo land. You know, we're going through some struggles at the moment. My brother is very ill. We've got Gina's mum. We're looking after her at the moment. She hasn't been that well. But still, overall, if you coming from a place of gratitude, of happiness, of joy, you attract more of that. But if you pollute your mind with the news of the day, which, you know, a gangland killing or stuff like that, why do you need to know about that? Does it improve your life in any way, shape or form? No. All you can do is go about with more love in your heart, help the people in your life, your friends, your family, your community.
Yeah. It's interesting, you know, in speaking there, if you look at it, it's like you're reversing the process to just quantify and qualify what you're saying. Because some person can say, well, yeah, but I care for people, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at what you've done, though, you've moved forward by taking what is being done and you're helping, like with the environment.
Yeah.
And when someone looks at the newspapers, they're looking at something that is the past. They're going in reverse before they go forward. So I think it's really powerful what you just expressed there in terms of the power of moving forward can then create a momentum that helps so many other people. And you've done that. So I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to check back in, be your podcast accountability partner, and see that you're still being true to your own unique real self,
Thank
Simon.
you.
It is absolutely motivating, and it is going to be inspiring for those that are listening to see that. Now, you know, a couple of years after, you're still true to that. So
thank you, my friend. Thank you.
You're very welcome. In closing, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Try and get stillness in your life regularly if you can. Switch off technology because it floods our brain. I run a marketing business and I coach my clients all over the globe, so lots of different hours and whatever, but I make sure we don't have technology in the bedroom. I have a time of quietness, of stillness. In that stillness, that's where amazing things happen. You can start to have the gratitude. You can start to listen to the things that come through. 5 Things Clear, that idea came through just by being present. But when we're constantly distracted, we don't have a chance to think. And then we can make rash decisions because our stress levels are up, because we've seen something on Facebook or there's something else. We just don't have time to be ourselves. So when we get more time to be that in peace with ourselves, then amazing things will happen.
Simon Jordan, a pleasure. I treasure. Thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.